The history of black male slaves' exploitation and suffering, particularly in their sexual interactions with white women, has been largely ignored, revealing the power dynamics of white supremacy and patriarchy during this period. Female slaves on plantations were subjected to sexual abuse, physical punishment and manipulation in order to control and subdue them. White planter wives, unhappy and isolated in their marriages, sought companionship and fulfillment from male slaves, leading to affairs and the risk of having mixed-race children. White women in the household commonly emotionally abused and exploited black male slaves, often for their own amusement or to compensate for their lack of authority, coercing them into sexual activity while being highly valued for their contributions to the estate. White women in the patriarchal society were expected to be chaste and reserved, while black women were stereotyped as lustful, which justified the exploitation of dark-skinned slaves. The dominant culture and absence of husbands made it difficult for white women to fulfill their sexual needs, leading to affairs with black male slaves, resulting in scandal, public humiliation, imprisonment, and infanticide to prevent further enslavement of mixed-race children. Male slaves in colonial America had limited personal freedoms, were required to have a male chaperone, and faced castration if they attempted to escape, while female slave owners were legally responsible for the well-being of their slaves and faced fines for employing slaves without proper documentation. Some women gained economic independence by owning slaves and running plantations, perpetuating racist structures despite belonging to the Southern patriarchy. Wealthy white women in the past had complex relationships with their slaves, often treating those acquired through their parents better than those acquired through their husbands. And some women gained economic power and autonomy by owning and oppressing slaves. White women in the past engaged in sexual misconduct with male slaves, using their power and access to enslaved bodies to maintain racial and social hierarchies, as exemplified by a woman who chose the most brutalized slave as her companion, showing how they internalized and enacted these hierarchies. White women in the South exploited the exposure of black male slaves' bodies and violated their privacy, using social preconceptions to ensure their silence and acquire transgressive power. Black male slaves shed light on a disturbing aspect of history, forcing us to question accepted explanations for slavery and recognize the importance of acknowledging past wrongs for a more equitable and inclusive future.